I was going to say I wore this to Pixar because I figured I'm putting it into the world that I'd like Pixar to make a Star Blazers movie. And by wearing it to Pixar, I'm like, putting it into
Putting it out. You're marrying
They're
the
all
ideas.
original, man.
You know something? But does it have to be all original? Could it be some IP that not many people know?
Could be a spin.
So let me start with, let's jump into the movie. So let me start with congratulations. And I really mean that sincerely. This movie meant a lot to me. It's a very personal story because I went through something similar, but enough about me. When you guys were offered the roles finally, or however you got them, how much did you think you were being punked because, lead roles in Pixar?
I felt pretty punked. It's like that call you get and you're like, is this a telemarketer? Or are you like for sure, for real, that this could actually happen? I mean, the process to even audition, that was really shocking. I think it was so surreal that I wasn't as nervous because I was like, this can't be true. Like, this isn't actually happening. But then after the 6-hour audition in person, after talking with Peter on Zoom and doing all the different rounds, they told me at the end of my audition, and that was like, I felt punked because they said okay, great job today on your audition. And by the way, we'd love to offer you the role of Ember Lumen. And I was like, no, yes.
That's only happened to me, I think, one other time. It was for the front runner.
Wow.
But funny story. Jason Reitman was the director. Love him. We have a great quick session, and he's like, "You got the part," and I'm like, "What?" And I leave, and I call my agent, like, "I think he just offered me the part in the room." And then my agent calls me back. He's like, "Nah, he didn't." And I was like, why do you say that? Why do you say that? So then I go back, I do the callback, and with Ari Grainer, and he says, "Congratulations, you got the part." And I'm looking at him like,
nah, dude.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I did end up getting the part, but I thought it was so funny.
He's like,
Sorry,
no, you didn't.
He was like, "No, you didn't, dog." I was like, what? Why did he tell me that? He got me.
Imagine if after they were like, just kidding, you didn't.
Honestly, I don't know if I could put myself through what actors go through in terms of putting themselves out there all the time,
Oh, you got
trying.
used to it.
You know what I mean? You're like, you can. I definitely want to. One of the things about, I'm not sure if you knew going in what the recording process was really going to be like, and because it changes so much throughout the process. And anyway. So, what surprised you both about the recording process? And part two is, at what point did you're like, I just can't cry anymore?
Oh, that was never a problem. Nothing but tears. This movie's so beautiful, and it's everything that I've ever wanted to do. I got an endless well for that. I was surprised how exhausting it was. I was very surprised how exhausting the recording sessions are.
I was surprised how much I was sweating too. I mean, that's not what you just said, but I was like I need a second. And then on top of that as well, I think I just surprised myself. Because, you go and you kind of get the sides a night before because they're always constantly changing. And, I go in the booth and I'm like, okay, what are we going to cook up today? Like, how am I going to drown? Or how am I going to be running on a train? And how am I going to go from being super cheery with my dad to, crying that Wade's getting, I don't want to give spoilers. Wade, something happens to Wade. And so it was just kind of this mix and match. And I just really surprised myself, but it wasn't really me. It was Peter. To have a leader and director who is so gentle and fearless with you and understands kind of the emotions you need to get to where you need to go and be patient with that. There's no greater gift than having a creative that understands the tools that you kind of need, so that was really cool too.
At what you have to, a lot of people don't know what efforts are, but you obviously had to do a lot of efforts,
Yeah.
We did a lot of efforts.
Yeah.
I almost passed out doing the
Gotta breathe.
Right. I was going to say, I'm assuming,
and I'm like,
I'm assuming they saved all those to the end of the day, or
yes. They saved I asked them to save my yelling and explosions at the end of the day, but also the breathing stuff as well.
I almost passed out too, actually. What am I talking about? I almost passed out doing that. It's like, oh, I'm playing games. This is not a game.
It's not a game.
It's not a game.
You thought.
Yeah. I thought wrong. Yep. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I don't think a lot of people realize voice recording is really acting. It's really a lot of work. Yeah. And I think when from the outside, maybe it looks easy, but it's not. It's not.
You'd think that you just get to go in and be like, okay, like I hit this. But I think like because you can't see what the actor is doing, you have to put even more extra effort into, I think, making a grander version of grabbing a bag or like sniffling or laughing and different things like that. But it was actually really, really cool because there were a couple times when I'd be like, okay, was that realistic enough? And like we would have to listen to it back and be like, actually, we're kind of going for this. Do you mind like trying to breathe in a way where like the walls are closing in on you versus like this way? And I'm like, okay. I think I could try that. So it's just like kind of like problem shooting and just trying different things too.
Yeah, it's kind of just, I mean, fundamentally for me, it was just like vortexing or exploding and then finding the spaces in between. Mm-hmm. Like you'd vortex for the quiet moments and you're just having this intimate one-on-one. And it's like very, and then there's like, you know, how Wade and Ember both get where it's just like very effusive and celebratory or, you know, scary or, you know, very emotional. Yeah. And just like but you have to put all of yourself into each level of that, no matter how, what the size is. Sure. Mm-hmm. So that's where it's like, oh, takes quite a bit of focus and energy. It's fun though.
Yeah, I already have to wrap. I'm just going to say one last thing. I really enjoyed that there's no villain in this. Yeah. It's really about family and characters, and it's not some person trying to take over the city. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. That's exactly what I love about it. Well, one of the things I love about it as well.
On that note, I'm just going to say congrats, and congrats on being part of a big Pixar movie. It's fucking awesome.
Thanks.
You know what I mean?